Morning, everybody. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Market's closed, so we get a chance to kind of breathe, take everything in, and wait for tomorrow. Hopefully it's our day. If not, we're still gonna hold. We're still gonna stay the course. So a lot of YouTubers made a lot of videos over the weekend. I didn't. I just didn't think there was a point. But like I said, and like I've warned you guys before, the YouTubers make videos because they got to make money. They got to run their views up and whatnot. But a couple of the guys, specifically Lou and Trey, said some interesting things that I agreed with, and wanted to talk to you about that today. First and foremost, just want to show you what I live. I live in Florida, so we don't really get that cold weather. So you see Lou walking around, he's freezing his ass off. But I'm not. I'm literally walking around and it's about 65 degrees. This is kind of what I look at when I'm walking my dog. And this is my scenery. Moving on. So the halts. Let's talk about halts real quick. Because that's going to happen. That's 100% going to happen. There will be halts once this thing starts to rip. A lot of the other YouTubers, they don't go backwards. They don't talk about things that they've already spoken about in the past. I don't think that's wise, because you get new investors, or you get investors that really haven't gone on YouTube and listened to anything. They're just literally just invested into AMC for whatever particular reason they got in. But for those that are watching me for the first time, a stock, when it gets out of control, can be halted by the market. Usually they say it's because there's just too much, there's too many transactions. Either there's so much selling, there's so much buying, and they literally stop it at whatever price it's at. And sometimes it may not come back within an hour, 30 minutes. It may be halted for a day, it may be halted for a week. So I want to prepare people that don't know much about this. The stock can literally be halted right when you're watching, and this is the day. Basically they're saying, hey, this is the day, it's ripping, you're watching it, you're at work, you're on your phone, you're like, holy shit, I'm up thousands and thousands of dollars in my account, and they halt it. And I'll give you an example. Early 2020, when we were first starting in the pandemic, our former president came out one day, and I was totally invested in some other stock at the time, and he came out and he said, I'm giving $600 or $700 million to Kodak. And I'm like, wow, that's weird. Why would you give that kind of money to Kodak? So this was after hours. Literally, I sold all my positions in whatever stock I was at that point and went all in on this stock, Kodak, because I knew that this influx of money that the president at the time decided to give this company was going to make this price jump. So I literally got in at about $11 after hours. I had about 1,200 shares, and I took a risk. The same type of risk this AMC thing is, and this AMC thing could be 100 times that kind of a play, if anybody remembers that play. So the next day, it started running the price. 11 became 20 opening up, went up to 25, went up to 30. Then there was a halt. And I never experienced that, a stock being halted. I'm excited. I'm at work. I'm watching my money double and triple, and I'm going nuts. And I don't know what to do because I've never experienced something like this. And a lot of people think that just because it halts, when it comes back, it means it's going to be a lot higher. And in this case, with Kodak, that was happening. So it would halt at like 30 or something like that, and it would come back. And by the way, I'm wearing a rain jacket. And the reason why I'm wearing a rain jacket is because in Florida, we don't really own coats for the cold. So we just grab whatever the hell we can find in order just to stay a little warmer. I mean, most of you northerners and people that live in cold states, you would literally probably be naked in this weather. Like, you'd walk around naked. But for us, literally, they do states of emergencies when it's like 50, 55 degrees. Like, literally, they're like, state of emergency, 55 degrees in Florida, it's freezing. But anyway, going back to the holds. So the Kodak went up to 30, halted. And I'm like, I'm calling my wife. I'm like, oh my God, this is at 30. I'm up 3 times the amount of money I put in. And so she's like, oh no, just keep holding. So all of a sudden after the hold, it comes back, it goes to 40 and then 45 and then it halts again. And I'm like, oh my God, these halts mean that every time it comes back, it's coming back higher. There's no way I can sell this. So all of a sudden, it comes back. And these were like hours, like an hour, they would be halted and then they would finally come back. All of a sudden it comes back again. And now I'm in the 50s, 50, 55. I'm like, holy shit. It keeps going up. So my thought process was that because it halts, that means it's going to go up. And even my wife and I agreed, let's just hold it. It's going to keep going up. We're going to be millionaires that day. So it tops out at some point within the halt, which I didn't set a price. Most people probably didn't set a price that don't know the situation. I didn't set a price. All of a sudden, it releases from like 55 or whatever. I then see the high of the day when it comes back. It was like 70, 75. But when it came back, it dropped. It went down to like 45. So when you go from 55 to 45 and you own about 1,200 shares for a person that has the amount of money that I have, a halt like that, a difference like that is like a loss now. So I'm like, oh my God, I just lost $15,000 in one halt. All right, well, they'll halt it again and it'll go back up. They halted it again, came back down again, somewhere in the 40, 35, something like that. So now you're kind of like, even though you're up a lot of money, mentally you're drained because it's like, damn it, there was so much money I could have gotten and I missed out. Like I'm at 35, 38 and this thing hit 70 and I didn't cash out. It's because I didn't know better. So I'm here to tell you that this is real. Like this is another move that they can do in order to fuck with your psyche, and you're not prepared for it and you're not setting price points if you want to get out. I mean, some people have already agreed that they're just going to ride this thing out to see how high it can go and to just break the system in half. Hey, that's your choice. But the rest of us, we don't have that choice. You know what I'm saying? Like we may see a price point that's like, you know what, that's enough for me. I don't really need to press it that hard. So I kind of wanted to go over that. And hold on a second, my dog's taking a crap. Okay, she's done. And as a good neighbor, I scooped up crap. That's the appropriate thing to do when your dog takes a crap on lawns so that people don't step in it. You don't have all this stinky dog crap in your neighborhood. So anyway, going back to the halts, just you have to really keep that in mind. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, drop comments, let's talk about it. Others can help and give their input. But it's a real thing, and it's really going to mess with your head because you're not going to know better, because as it's going up, they're going to be halting it, and you're going to think, holy shit, like every time this thing pauses, that means I'm going to make more money. That doesn't mean that. It could literally run up to 100. You're going to be happy. It's going to halt, and you're going to say, oh, wow, it's 100. It's coming back at 200, and it'll come back at 50, and your fucking face is going to hit the table because you're going to say to yourself, fuck, I just lost half of that money. So that's the psyche that's involved here, because even when you're up, you can feel defeated. Even when you make money, at a lot more money than you put in, you can feel defeated because you've missed an opportunity. The mind works that way. It works like that in gambling. You play poker, you sit at a table, you're up $500, and now you give back $200 and you're only up $3. Mentally, you're telling yourself, shit, I got to get that $200 back. Then what happens? You sit there long enough and now you're minus. Now you've given back the whole $5 and $200 out of your pocket, and you're walking out of a casino a loser instead of up $500. So these are the mental battles that you have to prepare yourself for the day that this stock, if it rips, this is what you're going to have to prepare yourself for. So I wanted to cover halts. The other thing I want to cover real quick is something I was thinking about over the weekend regarding synthetics. And hopefully people can comment and kind of answer this question for me, because if they know, like I don't really know. So there's so many synthetics out there, and we've bought synthetics. There's a lot of people that have bought, and you don't know what you really have. You don't really know what you own. Do you own an actual stock that was provided by the company, or do you own a synthetic that was created by a short hedge fund or whatever with that whole manipulated world. And I'm afraid of that situation because what if one of the things that they could be discussing right now to try to manipulate everybody and not have to pay, they may say, hey, listen, we've looked into this AMC thing. We're about to, shut some people down, arrest some people, and stuff like that because they've committed some crimes. They've created synthetic shares in a company that they were not able to do. And unfortunately, those that own synthetic shares, we can't pay you. Those that own actual shares that were provided by the company and are not part of this corrupted scheme, unfortunately, we can't pay you. We'll give you back your money, I guess, or your investment, but we got to think about that. Like I said, we have to start thinking about what are they thinking about right now, because what's going on with this stock right now is just like a total standstill. They keep playing, they ping pong it up, they ping pong it down. They're trying to see if they can shake whoever out loose. They're also trying to temperature check the stock, which means let's see how far we can drop it before we cause a mass buy power. We drop it to 20 and all of a sudden people that were on the sidelines are like, all right, now I'm in. So they're testing the waters to see how low they can drop it before creating, a mass buying power from retail. So like I said, somebody needs to answer that. Comment, another YouTuber, please, see if you can dig into that and provide a little bit better insight of, can they come back and say, because you own a synthetic share, because you don't own an actual share from the company, we're not going to give you this astronomical amount of 500, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, whatever price you guys want to play with. But yeah, somebody needs to kind of answer that, comment that, because I think that's very interesting. Can they do that? I don't know if anybody knows that, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. This is something that these companies could be talking to the government and saying, hey, listen, this is a way out. Penalize us, fine us billions of dollars, but it's a lot less than having to pay out all these people and shift the power of wealth to a different group. It's a lot. Like I said, you're gonna have to battle your greed within when they start halting the stock. That's gonna be a test too, because in my opinion, that's all bullshit. There's no reason why you need to halt a stock. That's ridiculous. That to me is just a way to manipulate and kind of say, let's pause the game right now. Let's figure out how we can fuck everybody over when we come back. It's kind of like watching a football game in the playoffs and just saying, okay, it's 21-21. We're in the fourth quarter. There's 30 seconds left, and the home team has the ball in the middle of the field. Let's just pause everything right now and let's just decide who we want to win. Who's gonna give us more money, TV rights to the game and stuff like that going forward. That's the team that I want to win. So there's a lot of stuff going on. There's literally a lot of stuff going on that you're going to have to keep in mind regarding the stock if and when this rips, because you're going to have to battle stuff. And believe me, if you sell at a small price and all of a sudden it runs up and you're like, shit, I missed out, you're not even going to feel that good about the price that you went out at. Like, let's just say you're in for $20 a share, and all of a sudden one day it goes up to 100. It starts ripping to 100, and they halt it, and you're like, you know what, I'm out at 100. And the halt, after the halt, it comes back, it goes to 250. And you're gonna be like, oh my God, I could have just made so much more money. So keep that in mind, start strategizing, start getting your mind right, because I have a feeling this is coming soon and we all need to be prepared. Again, thank you for watching. It's John Wick Sniping. I'm always looking out for you. And I'll see you guys again.